Hey there, have you ever felt that sting when your kids just don't seem to listen anymore? Maybe you've tried giving advice, sharing a story, or even asking for a little help around the house, and all you get back is a shrug or a quick, "Yeah, Mom," before they're out the door or glued to their phone. It's tough, isn't it? You've spent years raising them, guiding them, being there through every scraped knee and late-night worry, and now it feels like they've put you on mute. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I've heard it from so many folks over 60, that quiet ache of wondering if you still matter to the people you love most. But here's the good news. You don't have to sit there feeling invisible. You can take back control, rebuild that respect, and feel strong in your own skin again. No yelling, no guilt trips, just a few smart moves that really work. Let's start with the first one, something Denzel's been crystal clear about in his life. Knowing your worth doesn't depend on anyone else. Think about it. When he's up there, accepting an Oscar or talking to a crowd, you can feel he's not begging for approval. He's just being Denzel, steady and sure. Now, after 60, it's easy to let your kids' brush-offs chip away at how you see yourself. Maybe they don't call as much, or they roll their eyes when you start a sentence with "back in my day." But here's the trick. Your value isn't tied to how they act. It's yours, built from decades of hard work, love, and grit. So next time your son cuts you off mid-story or your daughter forgets to check in, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I'm still me. I've earned my place. Try this. Stand in front of a mirror once a day, look yourself in the eye, and say something true. I raised a family, or I've made it through tougher days than this. It's not about bragging. It's about grounding yourself. When you feel that strength inside, it shows. Your kids might not say it, but they'll notice. And that's where respect starts creeping back in. Now, flowing right from that, let's talk about the second tip, something Denzel's mastered in every role he plays: setting boundaries without a fight. You've seen him on screen. He doesn't need to shout to let you know he's in charge. He just draws a line, quiet and firm. After 60, you've got every right to do the same with your kids. Maybe they're used to you, always saying yes, dropping everything to babysit, lending money without a word, or letting them vent for hours while you bite your tongue. But respect goes both ways. And it's okay to say, not today. Here's how you can start. Next time they ask for something that feels one-sided, pause. Say something simple like, "Let me think about it," or "I'd love to help, but I've got my own plans this time." Keep it calm, no drama. Just a little signal that your time and energy matter too. I knew a lady named Carol who tried this. Her daughter used to call every Sunday, dump all her complaints, and hang up without asking, "How are you, Mom?" One day, Carol said, "Honey, I'll listen for 10 minutes, but then I've got a walk planned." Guess what? Her daughter started asking about her walks after that. Small steps like that show your kids you're not just a sounding board. You're a person, and when they see you value yourself, they're more likely to follow suit. So we've got knowing your worth and setting boundaries under our belts. Two solid ways to shift how your kids see you. But there's more to this, because respect isn't just about standing firm. It's about connecting too. Denzel's got a third tip that's all about that. And it's a game changer when you feel ignored. Let's move into how you can spark real conversations that pull your kids back in without chasing them down or feeling like you're begging for their attention. So you've got that inner strength humming and those boundaries set, two big steps toward feeling respected again. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because respect isn't just about holding your ground. It's about building a bridge too. That brings us to Denzel's third tip. And it's one you can feel in every interview he gives. Ask questions that matter. You've probably noticed how he listens, really listens, then hits you with something thoughtful, something that makes you lean in. After 60, when your kids start tuning you out, it's tempting to lecture or repeat yourself louder, right? I told you 100 times how I fixed that old car, but here's the twist. Instead of talking at them, try pulling them in. Next time you're with your son or daughter, skip the usual "how's work" and go deeper. Ask something like, "What's the one thing you're proudest of lately?" Or, "What's been the toughest part of your week?" It's not about prying. It's about showing you see them as people, not just your kids. I tried this with my nephew once. He's 35, always rushing. And instead of my usual "you should slow down," I asked, "What's the best part of your crazy days?" He stopped, smiled, and talked for 20 minutes. He asked me about my day. Funny how that works, isn't it? When you spark a real conversation, they're more likely to turn the mic back to you. And suddenly, you're not invisible. You're part of the story. Flowing right from that idea of connecting, let's talk about Denzel's fourth tip, a quiet power move. Lead by example, not by words. You've seen it in his movies. Whether he's playing a coach or a pilot, he doesn't just tell people what to do. He shows them. After 60, your kids might not listen to your advice anymore. "Mom, I know how to cook chicken," but they're still watching you. So, live the way you want them to treat you. If you want respect, show respect to yourself and others. Maybe that means keeping your home the way you like it, even if they tease you about all those plants. Or sticking to your morning walk, even when they say, "Why bother?" I knew a guy named Frank who started this after his daughter kept canceling plans. He stopped nagging her and just focused on his own stuff. Picked up painting, started volunteering. One day, she showed up with a canvas, saying, "Dad, teach me." He didn't have to demand her attention. She came to him. It's like Denzel said once, "Do what you gotta do so you can do what you wanna do." Live your life with purpose, and your kids will notice. They might not say it out loud, but they'll start seeing you as someone worth listening to, not just good old mom or dad who's always there. Both of these, asking questions and leading by example, shift the dynamic without a big showdown. You're not chasing them down or begging for respect. You're inviting it in. And that's the beauty of it. You're in control, but it doesn't feel forced. You're steering the ship, calm and steady, just like Denzel stepping onto a set. Now that we've covered how to draw them in and show them what respect looks like, there's one more piece to this puzzle. It's about handling those moments when they still push back, when the eye rolls or the silence creep in despite your best efforts. That's where Denzel's fifth tip comes in. And it's all about staying cool under pressure. So you're asking the right questions, living your life with purpose, and showing your kids what respect looks like without saying a word. But let's be real. Sometimes, even with all that, you'll still get the brush off, the phone call that never comes, the while they scroll Instagram, or that moment they walk away mid-conversation. That's when Denzel's fifth tip shines, and it's one he's lived through every tough scene he's ever filmed. Stay calm and let it roll off. You've seen him in those high-stakes roles, think Training Day or Man on Fire, where chaos is everywhere, but he's steady as a rock. He's said before that getting mad doesn't fix anything, it just hands your power away. After 60, when your kids ignore you, it's easy to snap or stew in silence, thinking, "How dare they?" But here's the move. Take a breath, let it go, and keep your cool. Next time your daughter cuts you off, or your son forgets to call, don't chase them with a guilt trip, just smile. Maybe even laugh a little, and say to yourself, "That's on them, not me." Then go do something you love. Water your garden, watch a movie, call a friend. I saw this work with my neighbor, Linda. Her son blew off their lunch plans, and instead of fuming, she went to her book club. When he called later, all flustered with excuses, she just said, "No worries, I had a great day anyway." Guess who started showing up on time after that? Staying calm doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're unbreakable. Your kids will feel that strength. And over time, they'll think twice before dismissing you. Let's pull this all together, because you've got everything you need right here. You start by knowing your worth, standing tall like Denzel at his best, reminding yourself you're not just mom or dad, but a person who's earned every gray hair. You set those boundaries, quiet and firm, so they know your time matters. You spark real talks by asking questions that pull them in, showing you're still curious about their world. You lead by living well, letting them see respect in action. And when they still tune you out, you stay cool, keeping your peace no matter what. These aren't big, dramatic fixes. They're small shifts, little moments you can start today. And the payoff? You'll feel that weight lift off your shoulders, that sting fade away, because you're not waiting for their approval anymore. You're in charge of how you feel, and they'll come around when they're ready. This stuff really works. I've seen it in my own life and with folks just like you. You don't have to feel ignored or sidelined after 60. You can stand strong and still love your kids without losing yourself. So give it a try. Pick one of these tips and run with it. Maybe tomorrow, when your son rushes past you, you'll ask him something new. Or when your daughter forgets to call, you'll shrug and enjoy your coffee anyway. I'd love to hear how it goes for you. Drop a comment below and tell me what you tried. Or just share a story about your kids driving you up the wall. We're all in this together, figuring it out, one day at a time. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people find these ideas. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more ways to live your best life. You've got so much ahead of you, and I'm cheering you on. Here's to feeling respected, not just by your kids, but by yourself, because that's where it all starts. See you next time.